Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So I'm back with part two. This is a surprise session, but I really wanted to share with you how the box comes together. This is the full flat box card, and I went into my stash. I found the white seam binding ribbon that I was looking for, and I got out my markers, and I'm ready to take it to the decoration now. So I thought I'd invite you to watch. So here we go. Here's the box. Here's where we left off. Okay, it opens like that, and you see some cash will fit in there. It's a little bit long at the end, but it'll still fold down, okay, and it actually makes it a little bit easier for you to grab it to pull it out of there. So this is the base, and now what I want to do is decorate it. So I found my white seam binding ribbon. This is a retired product. It's called Whisper White crinkled seam binding ribbon, and it's a 1/4 inch, so it's perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and find the middle, which is about there. Okay, and I made it a little extra long because I have a feeling this is going to be opened and closed several times, and so we may want to trim it a little bit to keep the edge from getting too tattered. So I'm just adhering the ribbon like so, so that's not going to get lost. And then I have my pieces over here. So I've got this is the insert. This is where my message is going to be written, and I decided I want to add a little bit extra here. So I found in the Gallery Blooms set this nice little stamp here, and I thought that would be perfect. So again, I'm using the Merry Merlot, and let me get my paper and my pad. Alright, and I think I want it to go this way. I'm just going to put this at the bottom. Just kind of angle it slightly. Okay, so there's my little decoration. I like that. And also, I needed to find a sentiment. So for my sentiment, I took the Perfectly Pairs set, and I found this nice congratulations in here. And I'm going to put that on this front panel. Give that a little test. It looks pretty good. Make sure it's right side up. And I'm going to try to get this as straight as I can. Perfect. Okay, so that is the stamping done. Get these things out of the way. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to add a little color to these things. So I pulled out my markers, and I'm going to use the Old Olive. This is what matches the green that I'm using with the die cuts. And I'm just going to put a little bit of color on my leaves. And I don't mind if a little bit of white pops through here and there. the style of the stamp is kind of sketchy, and so it's okay if the coloring is kind of sketchy as well. Alright, so that's the old olive. And then what I can do is I can take my mossy meadow, which is a darker green, and I can just add a little bit of shadow. Just a few spots. And for the flowers, I'm afraid if I put the straight Mary Merlot on there, it's just going to color too much of it in. So before I do that, I'm going to start with a different color. This is a retired color. It's called Rococo Rose. And I think this is going to be just perfect. There we go. Alright, so there's my stamping done for the front and the inside. I can move this out of the way, and we can add a little bit of embellishment. Now, I wanted this to have a little extra something, and if you look at that liner paper that I used in there, it's got a kind of a coppery, kind of a metallic quality about it. So I pulled out my gold ink pad, and I've got my ink in this little bag, if I can get it opened. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple of drops to my stamp pad. And then I'm going to use my sponge here. I'm just going to pick up some of that gold, and I'm going to go ahead and go around the edge and just give it a beautiful, elegant, shiny gold edge. I'm letting just a fraction of a millimeter of gold go onto the surface of the card so that it'll catch the light. Just a little extra. I'm going to do the same thing on my insert. This ink is called Delicata Golden Glitz. Very easy to use, and you can stamp with it as well. All right. There's that done. And then finally I have my gold, I think this is a Uniball, what is it? Yes, it's a gold Signo Uniball pen. And let me make sure this is ready to go. Yep. I'm going to use this on this die cut. Okay, so this die cut that has these little berry shapes, I'm going to go ahead and add gold accent to those little berries for a nice subtle embellishment. And the pen, I should say the ink in the pen, actually has some body to it, so it works beautifully for this kind of thing. See that? Really pretty, very subtle, really nice. I can do the same thing. I can pick up just a couple of little spots. Just so that when the light hits it, I can do something here maybe. A little bit on the leaves. Down the stem. Okay, I think that'll do it. And I will probably use this pen when I write my message. Okay, I think we're ready to assemble. So, as I mentioned in the first part of the video, I'm not going to, I will be adhering this to the inside of the card, but I don't want to do that until I write my message. So for now, I'm just going to put that aside and work on the front. So the next step now is to take the artwork, glue that down now that I have my ribbon in place. Just checking my settings. I'll make sure. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then making sure I've got everything right side up. Okay, I'm just going to place that. And I've allowed for a little bit of a border, which really makes it look nice. I'm going to go ahead okay, so that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. Maybe it could move over a scotch. Perfect. Okay, give that a good burnish to set that into place. And that would be perfect just as is, but I want to use these really fun die cuts. And I especially love the one that has the little berries in it. So I also have the leftover piece from the rose, and I wouldn't mind, I don't think I'd mind having a little bit of these red leaves. Roses often have some red in their leaves. I wouldn't mind having some of that in the background maybe. So I'm going to go ahead, grab my tweezer and my glue. Dot a little bit of glue on there. This is a very delicate die cut, so I am going to blot that because you don't need a lot of glue. I'm just using a paper towel. And then I'm going to place that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the stems and bring this down a little bit lower. Something like that. Then, let's see. I think I'll do my rose next. Now in the last video I showed you how I turned up these petals to give it a little more dimension, so I'm just going to help those along a little bit using my tweezers. This looks really cute. Okay, there we go. And then the same thing, just dot it gently with glue, not a lot. I want to make sure I get the bottom of the stem so that doesn't lift. And what I'm looking at, let me zoom you. I'm looking at this space in between the stamped image to place the rose. So I'm just going to hold that approximately there, and then I'm going to line up the stem and then press it down. Okay, and then finally I've got my additional piece here, and that's going to go down towards the bottom, allowing you to see the flowers behind it. Just the tiniest amount of glue. You could use your fine tip glue if you have it. I'm able to get a very tiny little dot just by squeezing gently. So there it is. And again, just give it a quick tap on the paper towel to remove any excess. Now I want to be careful I get all of the leaves inside the border of the card. You go a little bit into the red, but I want to make sure I stay within there, and I'm also lining up my stem. There we go. So the gift will go inside. The sentiment will go in here. Make sure I get that in there nicely. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie this to hold it closed. I'm not the best bow tire. I know paper crafters who tie magnificent bows. I am not one of them, but this will do. Okay, so if we clear the area here so you can see, that's what the little gift presentation is going to look like, something like that. I think it's really sweet. I'm very pleased with it. I hope it gives you some ideas. I've got a pretty good feeling that I'm going to be coming back to this box again at Christmas, maybe even for Halloween. This could be fun for Halloween too. So I really love the idea of combining a surprise and a gift inside of a card, and this little project sort of fits all the criteria so that you really get that element of surprise. So, thank you once again for joining me, and I will not be here next week. I might be able to squeeze in a watercolor Wednesday at 12 noon. I'm going to try, but I will not be here on Thursday, but I will be back the following Thursday. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.